Well, hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This one I'm very excited to do. I got a package recently that I really want to open and go over with you guys. So there's a brand I found on Instagram recently. It's called Pig Jigs, and it's a guy who makes these hand-tied jigs. They're very interesting because he does a lot of very small finesse stuff. Like, he uses these 132 ounce mule jigs, things like that. I picked up some 1/8 ounce and 1/10 ounce EWG Ned jigs that are skirted, and I think they're pretty neat looking. So I wanted to take this video to get into it, open these up, show you guys what they look like, and then pair some plastics with them and see how well they would look fish in the water. Before we get into that, I want to touch on some other stuff. As you know, Canada shipping is the pits. It's pretty awful and expensive. So I got these shipped to a address in the US, and I went over there to pick them up. As I was there, I'm going to stop at Walmart and grab a couple items. Walmart, as you may know, has a Yum Plastics discount bin. I was able to pick up some dingers for $2.50 a pack. That is USD. Pretty standard dingers I have here in the green pumpkin, and I have here in a white. This is like a white with a silver laminate on it. I'm not going to get into these too hard, but they're pretty neat looking. The Yum discount bin, I'm not sure why they do it. I think it's like, malfunctioned pores, like wrong pores of plastics, and they just throw them in these bags and give them to you at a discount. I had to pick a few up, always a good deal. I also picked up, this here is a Strike King buzzbait. This was $1, man, $1. I couldn't go wrong. So this is just a standard white buzzbait. Top water, as I always say, something I do not throw, but over the fall time here, I heard that's kind of the best time to get that top water bite, and I think I'm going to start with the buzzbait. I'll probably pair this with a Z-Man, white goat, but we'll see. Should be fun to throw. So it is now time to get into the meat and potatoes of this video. These are the pig jigs that I was able to pick up. He recently just did a drop on some different colors and stuff like that. So I jumped on it when I had the chance, and I grabbed a few different things that I'm going to throw. A lot of this is in like a black and chartreuse kind of coloring. That's just what's working for me right now, so I wanted to just pick up stuff that I know is a good color. But there is a custom color in here I want to show off as well. It's pretty cool. So I'll start off here. This is a 1/8 ounce underspin. It's a pretty standard thing. This is in the Vader color, so it's black with a silver blade. Pretty cool color name. 1/8 ounce, very small underspin. The underspin is something that I've started to throw. I throw it in a bigger, 3/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce, a very large underspin. It's actually the Berkley one. It's really good for me, and I'm going to be throwing that all throughout the fall, but I want something maybe a little smaller. I mean, this is something you could throw on a little ultralight, and that'll be awesome, man. Look at that. Springtime? I'm going to be throwing this a lot in the spring, and of course in fall. Nice, very small, light wire hook, so you won't have any problem driving that hook into the fish's mouth. And I'll pair this with a little plastic. I'll show you what I'll be using. So yeah, I see this underspin, and I instantly think donkey tail, man. That's going to be a great pairing. So very basic, a little finesse underspin with a small paddle tail on there. That donkey tail pairs perfectly. Small little tip here, when I have an underspin, and this one's not a problem, that's such a small little blade, but a lot of the times I like to put my boot tail sticking up, kind of in that direction, and that way it doesn't interfere with the blade at all. That's not going to be a problem on here. That small blade's really finessey, and just a little bit of flash that's going to give in the water. I think that'll help a lot. Yeah, very solid pairing there. I almost wish I picked up 2 of these. I only got the one, but you know what? I like the look of that. So we got here a bladed jig, very standard. This is in the Truce color. Like I said, I did a lot of this green pumpkin chartreuse kind of coloring when I purchased these. He calls it the Ulated jig. I actually thought this was a typo, and then I realized Ulated, UL, ultralight. So pretty fun. And I got this in the 1/16 ounce size. These micro bladed jigs are something I'm not that familiar with, but I've purchased the micro chatterbait, and I had some trouble with it. Just that blade, it was hard to get a vibration out of, but I think this will be kind of neat to throw. I don't know if this is meant to have a plastic on it. Just looking at it, that hook point is very small. I mean, it's a very, very small hook, and I think you're just supposed to fish this with just the skirt on there, no plastic, and I think it'll do okay. I'm going to give that a try first, and then maybe if I have trouble with it, I might throw a plastic on there, but I don't know what kind of plastic he would put on for a trailer. Either way, that's going to be a fun little thing to throw. Small little blade there. All you need. Should be okay with the ultralight. Okay, time to get into the actual jigs. I have here what he calls the Nedden jig, and I have these in a 1/8 ounce as well as a 1/10 ounce. And I also have here what he calls the Little Buddy jig, and I have these in a 1/8 and 1/16 ounce. I think the main difference is just that head. The Ned and Jig has that shroom style head, and the little buddy is more of a ball head. So I'm gonna open up these first, these ball head jigs. And yeah, pretty standard stuff, but I like the look of them a lot. So I have here, this is the 1/16 ounce. Take a look at that, man. That's pretty neat. A very, very small jig head there. And it has that EWG hook. This almost looks like the XPS tungsten EWG ball head jigs that I throw a lot, with a skirt tied on, which is pretty neat. That skirt is gonna stay up there. You know, it's definitely tight on there, so I'm not worried about that. And let's see what kind of plastic I'll put on this little EWG. This might be a little bit unconventional. So this here is the donkey tail paddle tail on the EWG there. And I mean, it definitely fits. I'm willing to give it a try. That hook point comes out at a good spot. It's not too bad. It's not going to interfere with the action or anything. But I want to fish these more like a Ned style bait, where I'm kind of just on the bottom bouncing. So while this will work, and it's definitely something I'm going to throw, I want to try it with a different plastic as well. Okay, so there it is with the TRD Tickler Z on there. Maybe a bit more conventional jig trailer. That fits, that works good. This is on the 1/16 ounce. I also have this new 1/8 ounce, and it looks like that has a bit bigger hook, so I think that'll work even better. And there that is there, I'll show you that, just in the package. But very standard little jig, but in a really nice compact size, something that I don't find on the mainstream market. And I think that'll be fun to throw around. You know, in a lot of the spots I fish are like really small ponds or shallow kind of rivers, creeks, you know, canals, things like that. I think this will prevail and, you know, really work good. So here's the 1/10 ounce Ned and Jig. This is really cool. This is the AA Ned color. I want to say this is the Aggressively Average Anglers created color. So really cool, you know, design on that jig head there. It's just that chartreuse kind of splatter looking stuff. And that skirt is awesome. You have that black and blue on the top, and then on the bottom you have green pumpkin with some chartreuse bits in there. Really like that color. Green pumpkin, always good. Black and blue, always good. And I think with that chartreuse, you get just a little bit more pop in the water that can attract those fish. So there you go. I think this still pairs really well with the Tickler Z there. You know, very standard pairing. I'm gonna also show you this with a regular TRD as well. What I want to get into is, so I've bought some skirted Ned jigs recently, and they look pretty neat. However, the problem is that they don't have that EWG hook. Ned jigs with just a standard basic straight shank hook are a problem for me. I'm getting them hung up a lot. I'm fishing a lot of areas with just tons of vegetation, so it's hard to fish those. But the EWG saves me. I've been using EWG Ned heads a lot. They work pretty good at getting through weeds, and so I think getting these skirted jigs with the EWG is clutch for me. So these are pretty nice, and I'm excited to throw them. So there's another great combo for this one. There it is with the Rage Ned Bug. Very cool little trailer, that craw kind of style trailer. That black and blue looks great. I think this is money right here. This looks awesome, man. Very excited to throw this, and yeah, should be able to get into some pigs with these. And so I had to save the coolest for last. This is the Wonka custom color on the Ned and Jig. This is a 1/8 ounce Ned jig, and very cool, man. Look at the color on that ball head. I love that splatter kind of colorway, that blue with the chartreuse, and that skirt's just awesome. You got that purple, the pink, a lot of that, I don't know, I wouldn't maybe call it, is it almost like a baby bass? That lighter green skirted color, almost like a, almost green pumpkin-ish, but a little bit lighter. I love the color of this one. Very cool. You know, they say that colors catch fishermen, not fish. This one definitely catches fishermen. Very cool looking, and I'm not even really sure what plastic to put on this, but I'm going to show you something that I might rig up. So, pretty standard stuff. There's the Bubble Gut TRD. And, you know, I'm trying to match that pink with the pink. Of course, this is a bit darker of a, you know, almost, I would say this is just about black, maybe green pumpkin laminate. So, it doesn't quite match up. But that'll work. That'll catch fish 100%. So, yeah, some pretty fun pairings you can do with Ned baits and these types of jigs. These smaller finesse EWG jigs. Like I said, he also makes some really cool skirted mule jigs. He does even down to a 1/64 ounce mule jig. And I think that's pretty neat, but something I'm not really into the market for right now. But I had to jump on some of these EWG Ned heads with the skirts. Very cool stuff. Just wanted to touch on some cool things that people are making out in the world. And you know, very excited to throw these. So thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and tight lines out there.